Today I want you to meet the most insufferable man I've ever heard of, and by the end of this video you'll know 12 incredible English words just from hearing about his terrible, terrible day. Let me tell you about Reginald Ashworth Vane, quite possibly the most insufferable man in the entire city. You'd spot him before you ever heard him speak. He drove an ostentatious gold-plated car into the modest parking lot of his apartment building every single morning, just to make sure everyone noticed. At the office, he was famously bumptious, barging into meetings uninvited, correcting his own boss in front of the entire team, utterly convinced that every idea in the room was inferior to his own. His friendliness, if you could call it that, was entirely faux. He'd greet you with a warm hug and a bright smile, then quietly undercut you the moment you turned away. One afternoon, a young waiter brought him the wrong side dish. Reginald's response was so contumelious, so nakedly insulting and scornful, that the entire restaurant went quiet. He didn't just complain, he humiliated the poor kid on purpose. At work, his emails were legendary. Colleagues learned to open them only when they had time to recover afterward, because they were consistently opprobrious, dripping with contempt for anyone who'd made even the smallest mistake. It got worse. When a coworker got the promotion Reginald wanted, he didn't get mad quietly. He spread scurrilous rumors around the office, completely made-up stories, designed purely to damage her reputation, with not one shred of truth behind them. Naturally, when HR finally called him in to discuss it, he turned truculent almost instantly, refusing to sit down, refusing to answer a single question, practically daring them to fire him. He wasn't just defiant either. Once he got going, his tone turned genuinely virulent, bitter, venomous, personal in a way that made the HR representative visibly flinch. Later that week, he fired off a vitriolic email to the entire department, so filled with bitter, nasty criticism that 3 people forwarded it straight to legal. And when his wife tried to gently bring up his behavior that night at dinner, he launched into a full vituperative rant, a genuine, sustained verbal attack, over a salad that was by all accounts perfectly fine. By the time his unbridled temper finally burned itself out that night, he'd insulted a waiter, a coworker, HR, and his own dinner. Uncontrolled, unrestrained, completely, spectacularly unbridled. Now, contrast all of that with Reginald's grandmother, Eleanor, who still lived 2 floors above him. At 91 years old, she was, by every account, a genuinely venerable woman, deeply respected by everyone in the building, not because of her age alone, but because of a lifetime of quiet kindness nobody ever had to fake. 2 people, 1 building, 2 completely different lives. And now you know exactly which one you'd rather sit next to at dinner. Let's remember: ostentatious, showy, ostentatious, ostentatious, bumptious, arrogant, bumptious, bumptious, faux, fake, faux, faux, contumelious, insultingly scornful, contumelious, contumelious, opprobrious, scornfully critical, opprobrious, opprobrious, scurrilous, falsely damaging, scurrilous, scurrilous, truculent, defiantly aggressive, truculent, truculent, virulent, bitterly hostile, virulent, virulent, vitriolic, filled with bitter criticism, vitriolic, vitriolic, vituperative, harshly insulting, vituperative, vituperative, unbridled, uncontrolled, unbridled, unbridled, and venerable, deeply respected. Venerable, venerable, 12 words, 1 unforgettable story, and that's 12 powerful English words, all from one spectacularly bad day. Which word was your favorite? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe to the Wonderlings for more vocabulary videos like this one.